Hello fellow cultivators, this will be a tutorial guide for artifacts in the game of Tale of Immortal, and I will probably do another video for Artifact Spirit, but that will be sometime later, and this video is only focused about artifacts. And what are the artifacts we're talking about in this video? We're not talking about the initial divine artifacts, for example Eye of Providence or Bagua Jade, or the mythical gore that you gain from the very beginning of the game. What we are talking about is something like this, that you can equip them in and then use them into your battle. You can remove them as well. And you can access the artifact tab, go to items and click here. And here it will show all the artifacts you have. So this video will first introduce some basics, common things about artifacts. Then I will describe each of the artifacts in like what are their main use. And finally I will have a discussion about, in the current stage of the game, how does artifacts, what's their job, actual job, like in game, where in practically what's their main job, and make some discussions about what do I think is wrong with the system and what do I think it can be improved. And let's start with talking about artifacts. So first of all, you can see artifacts have their own stats like HP, attack, defense, crit, everything. So which means when you summon it in the battle, it can deal damage, help you to do damage. It has a duration time, that's how much it durates in the battle. It has recoil cooldown and use cooldown. And this will be easier to explain when I come into the battle and show you. So let's equip this sword with me and go to Martial Arts Arena. So now here, if I press 1, I summon this sword. It can deal damage, that's how sword goes. And you see this after 5 seconds. Now if I press 1 again, I can take it back, and now the cooldown is 10 seconds. So that is exactly the 5 seconds cooldown, 10 second cooldown for. 5 second cooldown is when you summon it, after 5 seconds you can take it back. This is actually quite important, but I will explain it maybe at the end of the video. And after you take it back, it takes another 10 seconds to summon it again. Or if you summon it without take it back, after 40 seconds this sword will automatically finish, because that's a duration time, and after that you again need 10 seconds to resummon it. So basically, and you can see they have an HP bar, which means they can be destroyed in battle, and if they are destroyed in battle, you need to wait for another 1 minute in order to resummon it. Imperial Sword is probably the first one you will see in this game, because one of the Nature Destiny actually allows you to immediately bring a chi refinement level green sword into this game, and it can help you a lot just to defeat the Jagu in the very beginning. And to actually create an artifact, you need to, at least in Huafeng region, where you have the workshop, and here you can go to Forge and click Forge again. You can either choose one of the recipes. If you have the core material, click Forge here, you will let the workshop forge for you, and this will be always a low rarity one, which I do not recommend. Instead, you can buy this thing and then learn it, and then when you press O, so the artisan ship, you go to forge, you can then forge them by yourself. And in this way, you can not only put in the core material, but also put in supplementary material, rare material, and study flame. With all of this, you are able to get a better rarity artifacts. So what are those materials? Let's go to our tree vault. Go to materials, select only forge. Alright. So first of all, you can see all of these special ones. These you will drop once you defeat any of the world boss. For example, you defeat Hellish Dunkang, it will drop the Rallying Horn. These are the core material. And this is why I said, where you are at the foundation, even if you defeat Hellish Dunkang, which means you are already ready to get into Qi, condensation realm 3. And then you won't be able to craft this the horn for you, because you need other materials which you can only get in Huafeng. So the whole game setup is a bit messed up. So let's take this guy, and we also need supplementary materials, which I believe I already have them. So if I uncheck all this, so supplementary are mostly these ones, you know. And some of them you can gain it from Falling Valley, so, and some of them you can just defeat by taking them, defeating monsters. And for example, all these monster materials, they can be used as supplementary as well. And then you have Statuary Flame, where you have, for example, I have 3 of them. They have different rarities, and this one you can only get it from stacking Yunbo. So while in Huafeng you can get Insect, green rarity Fire, and the purple one you get from Muxian, and this one you get from Shiyu. And then finally you have the special materials, which are extremely important. For each of them are for different artifacts, and if you put your mouse on them you can find out where you can get it. Mostly it's from mythical beasts in the corresponding region. And again, for Horn of Desolation you need silicon, which you can only get from mythical beasts at Huafeng region. It's another limit that you can't really get a foundation leveled realm artifact while you yourself is in foundation. Anyways, let's take this and go to forge. Try this, forge it. You need a core material, we just take it out, the horn. You need some kind of supplement material, and you can see that it needs to be remains or rare plant, which means not all materials can be used. And in this case I could always use the very highest one, the impurity 4. The impurity less is better. But for example, if I am not really at this high realm, I might only have this one in Muxian region, or more possibly I only have these hardest beast bones. Take this, and now the rare materials, you need 10 of them in order to get a red, any kind of red rarity artifact. You need all 10 of them. So if you do not have 10 of them, you can never get a red one, no matter how much your artisanship of artifact is. So the artifact shape, even if I have 99 here, this does not matter how much rarity you will get. The only thing that matters is how long those balls will exist in this small mini game. It's a bit weird. And then you can put in a flame. Let's say I am at Chi Condensation, I only get this flame. Obviously the higher rarity will be better. But say I only have this one. And then you can just click on start. Again, I cannot guarantee I will succeed, because many times this ball does not appear. But the whole idea is you try to click away those impurity balls if they are there. So basically water, lightning, and wind. And if you do not know Chinese, just remember the colors: cyan, purple, and white. Let's see how it works. I do not have much faith in it, and in there. So these are the good ones. You do not click on it. Okay, white, lightning, 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 white, cyan, duck, duck. So wow, I was lucky enough. Actually, do not have much bug in this case. And this minigame is okay. And if you do not click away, they will increase these rarities, which is bad. And I just click on the purity, which is not good. So you want the purity green bar as high as possible and the red bar as low as possible. And just like that, I get a red rarity Horn of Desolation. And the base level is always, so the realm of the artifact is always the base realm of the, for example, the horn is always foundation. And in order to upgrade, thank you. In order to upgrade artifact, for example, I had Enlightenment like this, and this one has 6 sub skills. You can see in the bottom, and this one, the base level foundation, only have 3. You need to upgrade these artifacts in order to go to higher realms, and to upgrade them, you need heavenly material is this, and you can gain in Falling Valley. And you need G5, I assume. I take all this. You get this forge card from Pagoda. and you got this earthly material. Let's take this one as well. Those materials from the Fallen Valley. So workshop, forge, enhance, this one. Heavenly materials, can get this, and forge quartz, yeah, you get this. So you always need forge quartz when you are upgrading your artifact from foundation to chi condensation and to golden core. And above that you need G4, and then if you go to soul formation or enlightenment you need G3, just like that. And if I have rallying horn, I can just add, oh yeah, you can auto add as well. Then you can, you need 300 and I do not have. Anyways, if I have that much and this, then you can upgrade this one. Another thing about this is you can see that the 3 affix, you might think, how do I change the affix? So you go to the artifact, go to this horn, and you can click on refine, and you would need temporary raising here. G5 temporary raising. I believe you can get it from the Fallen Valley as well, probably. But you can also gain it simply coming to your own sect, and they will always have it in your treasure pavilion. For example, here. Go down, go down, go down. Yeah, by the way, you can also get these two from there. And some materials for you to forge the artifact, and the raising here, G5. I take all of them. Go on this, click on them, and in this case, you can refine different affix than what you needed. Save before you do it, because it's just a save and load thing. So previously, I have this 3 affix. I can change them into something that I wanted, and some of the artifacts are better than others, and they are different for different artifacts, and I will explain what are the artifacts you probably want, or I recommend later in the later part of this video. Now, how do you combine artifact with artifact spirits? That's also very simple. You can see here. Now I can choose, for example, Meng Yi here, and just like that, you have artifact spirit combined with the cyanic seal. And now if I equip the seal into myself and I go to summon the seal in battle, you will see the artifact spirit coming as well. So I summon 2, and Meng Yi is here, and she will deal attack and also use her skill. And you can only use your artifact spirits when you combine them with an artifact, and that is actually the main point of artifact in this game. Best be Meng Yi, let's say, you need to have a compact with her so that you can use their ultimate skill. So, and you need have free spirit, this fate, which allows you to directly use their skill without meeting casting conditions. Here's the thing. Basically, in general, when you summon the artifact with artifact spirit in the battle, they will use their skills few times. And, for example, here, once they have used 10 times, they can use their ultimate. Some of ultimates are extremely strong, that I can tell you, especially for Meng Yi. And this free spirit allows you to bypass the preconditions. You can directly use the ultimate. And what you can do, what you actually should do about artifacts in this battle is get into the battle, right? Summon the artifact, and you can see Meng Yi, and you can see the press E to cast. You go close to it, press E, you can cast its skill, and hypnosis basically make everyone sleep until you deal enough damage to them, like 10% of its HP, or after a few times it will automatically getting out, and they will really reduce a lot of part of HP. And by the way, you can just press this thing to take it back, while the guys, all the enemies are still at sleep. So, and then 10 seconds later, you press this again, you use this again, you again put enemies into sleep, and you take it back. You just need to wait for 10 seconds. Then you can do damage whatever you want. So this is a way basically allows you to kill all the enemies while they are all in asleep. so it's actually almost like an abuse. They are very widely used against the very hard 3 Immortals challenge in Chaos mode. And this is one reason in all my videos against 3 Immortals I never use this, because it's so good. It almost removes the game difficulty. Look at it, it's still sleeping. So yeah, just use it, press E, use it again to make it back, wait for 10 seconds, go to another circle. I think I forgot to mention, we talk about 9 different artifacts. Each turn after 9 of them, you get a material from different world boss. What about sword? You gain the core material of the sword when you are farming the Fallen Valley. They are always near the Nether Mountains, alright? And they will be shows icon like this. Starting from Huafeng region, there are always 2 Fallen Valleys each region, like this one, and here you have this and this. You can see they are always near the Nether Mountains, and you can get into the Fallen Valley if you have the correct material, which is Ultima Sand. You can buy it in any kind of shop, and once you're getting in, you defeat every old monster, you manage to gain something, and in the end you can gain artifact spirits or get some loot for this materials and those interest items for artifact spirits. Also, at the end of Fallen Valley run, you have a chance to meet a certain mythic monster which is called Suan Yu, and defeating Suan Yu will drop you the material, the core material for you to forge the sword. And now we are starting to talk about different artifacts and what do they use. The first one would be Imperial Sword, and I would say it is not that much useful. The main thing is its only use of it is just deal damage. It summons 24 Spirit Sword when it has Enlightenment, okay? And each of them will deal damage, and they can have different affixes here. So once you reach Enlightenment, you can have 6 affixes, that's maximum. You don't need to upgrade them higher than that to have more affixes. And you can have many different type of affixes, and if you do not have the affix you wanted, you use the same way to refine it. Go to the artifact, just now said, refine to get the thing you want. But Imperial Sword, their affix is also quite simple, just adding more and dealing more attack. It does have this thing to reduce agility of enemy, so it can be a bit useful if you are dealing with, let's say, NPCs. Apart from this, it's not that useful, and I think you already see this in battle as well. Basically, you summon this giant as sword, and it will automatically summon this thing to attack the enemy. So it deals 100 damage, for example, in this case. And it does give the enemy a debuff for them to lose HP as well. This is one of its affix. So main use of this is probably for you to defeat Jagu, and that is it. A second artifact is Horn of Desolation, and let's just call it the Horn. And it is a good artifact for summoning build. The main thing is it can summon wild boars, and those wild boars will every 5 seconds, and that's one thing, but also it will buff all your summons within a certain region. And this buff will recover their HP and also increase their agility. And those wild boars themselves, you can see that it's not even that powerful. It only has 30% of artifact vitality, which means if your artifact itself is not that strong, the high realm, it won't be that have much HP. It deals very negligible fire damage. But the thing is, it can have these affix. For example, what is shown here. Every time a wild boar attacks, it will actually expose a wound of the target, so that the target will receive 20% more damage. So that's 20% damage boost for every single summon and yourself. And also, you can have this thing that every time when the horn boosts allies, remember every 5 seconds the horn boosts allies, it will also make them deal 25% more damage up to 250%. Also receives 80% less damage up to minus 80%. So this thing basically makes your summons extremely powerful. So you really need these 3 to make it good. And then you can reduce the time interval summoning, increase the durations, and increase the area. But that's just it. And how does it look in the battle? So let's come into this martial arts arena, and we use this in battle. So this is a horn, and this is the little what do you call board it summons. And if you have dealt with enemies, you probably have already seen this. Their horn and their boards can be annoying when you are both at foundation. If you cannot defeat their horns fast enough, you will be swarmed by the boars. And the shining thing on the board is actually the fact that this thing with trying to strengthen them. So let's get out of there. You might be thinking, but if the boars are so useless, like they are so weak, what's the point of it? Well, first of all, if you go to my wood build guide, basically it's a general summon build guide, you will find out that, for example, for summon build, if you have Meng Yi, this allows you to increase all the damage based on how much summons you have. So a horn is a good thing to immediately boost the number of the summons you get, especially in the early game. And also, another thing about the horn is it's actually really good with a certain artifact spirit, which is called Sharon. So this is not a special artifact spirit, but it has this skill. It will allow it to revive all the dead wild boars, so that even if they are dead, if you have summoned Sharon with the horn itself, first of all you need to combine them, and then this Sharon will cast this skill to revive all the dead boars, so that even if they are dead, it can be revived. So good enough. The next artifact is Lightning Smasher. Its basic realm is Chi Condensation, and you need to defeat the Hatui Berry to get the core material. So this is another attacking one. So its self-attack maybe not that great, I would say, but the point is, so basically it will strike with the Lightning Smasher to unleash lightnings to do attack, and also when the lightning hits, it will explode, do more damage in the round. You see that it actually does it minus 30% to all the spiritual root stats, and this allows your attack to be less chance to be cancelled by them. So reducing other people's spiritual roots is another way to boost your own damage. So that's one thing, and you can also have different affixes which allows you to decrease even more spiritual roots, which I don't think I have it here. Because so another good thing about Lightning Smasher is, if you look at the first affix here, for the duration of this artifact, every time you cast a special skill, you generate a lightning bolt that lasts 5 seconds, connecting it to yourself. Basically, you see this one chain lightning connecting you, and combined with the next affix, this lightning bolt, when you hit the enemy, it has 10% chance to stun it for 1 second. And 10% chance seems too low, but as long as you are always, using this lightning bolt to attack the enemy, it can be stunned, and it's quite good. And of course, it will also reduce the damage taken 30% of yours. That's good again. And yeah, there is this artifact. There is the affix to increase this reduction of spiritual root effect another 30%. And finally, there are two more. There's another affix which is not written here. It can reduce the enemy's crit res as well, but that is not that important. Then another two, if you really want to use this as a damage output, it can do is, for the last two affix, when you cast a charge special skill, every 0.2 second you charge it, the lightning explosion will expand more. Now, combine the next one. Basically, the more further away the enemy is, the lightning smash deals 386% more damage. That is really high. And you can see at Enlightenment, it has the attack around 3.6k, but if you upgrade to Transcendent, it can do some serious damage if combined with a good artifact spirit. Of course, that's only when you can have a charge special skill. Anyways, let's try to use this in battle. First of all, do I even have a charge special skill with me? I do have. Maybe I'll just use this one. And go to Martial Arts Arena. let's summon this. So, this is the standard attack it does to the enemy. Now, when I use my special skill, this is the lightning bolt it connects me to. And now you see, this enemy was actually stunned. It have a chance to stun it, right? And if I use this more, the area is increasing, the explosion area is increasing. It can deal much more damage. Now it's really big. The next artifact I'm talking about is the Cerulean Bell. And you guys probably hate this artifact a lot if you have been dealing with the NPCs, because it is annoying. So the bell is an, let's say, controlling artifact. It's really great against NPCs, as I can tell you. So what does it do? It creates an area where the enemies in this range are sealed, they cannot leave. And then it will deal damage to the enemies within this area. Though it can have the affix so that enemy within the area cannot use items. This is annoying. And also, they are forced to attack this artifact. Then you may be thinking, okay, if they are forced to attack this artifact, but that's not good, right? Well, then you have the affix. While this artifact is receiving damage, it have a 10% chance to release a shockwave, deals more damage to the enemy. And when the artifact is broken, release another shockwave that deals a lot of damage to the NPC. I mean, it's not much to the monsters, but a lot of damage to the NPC, and stun the target for 4 seconds. This is what makes it extremely annoying. It's like, I think you guys have this experience. You are stuck in this spell, and you have to attack it. Each time you attack it, you got more damage, and you break the bell, and then you basically either you die, or even if you survive, you're stunned for 4 seconds. Oh. Also, it has the affix to make the enemy within the area receive a bit more, 12% more damage, better than nothing. And also, while you are using this artifact, and if every time your special skill's projectile pierces through, you will generate another shockwave. So to show this, I might need to use a projectile-wise. For example, maybe this guy, Gale Sword. So let's get into the martial arts arena. Let's release the bell. So within this area, it will be sealed. Of course, this guy won't be sealed. And every time my projectile reaches this thing, it will deal more damage. And when bell is broken, it will stun more. I would say you would want another affix which makes this range higher, so that it have a really big range and cover much better range to that NPCs cannot leave this area. Because within this small range, it's a bit not that useful. But still, I think even without it, even without doing NPCs, just dealing with normal monsters, it can be a still good way to stun the enemy, because enemy will break it and stun for 4 seconds. That's quite long. The next artifact is Bloodwoven Mask. This used to be a really good one, like can help you a lot even in normal battles in Chaos dealing with mythical monsters. But that was kind of, let's say, before the Reborn Transcendent update. After that, it becomes less useful. So what does it do? It creates this area which basically allows enemy will deal 15% less damage every 4 seconds. And then effect lasts for 4 seconds and stack up 4 times. You might be thinking, okay, you last 4 seconds and you cause another effect every 4 seconds, so what's the point? It cannot stack. This is why you need affix, either to increase the duration of effect plus 1 second, the third one, or there is another affix to reduce this every 4 seconds, make it to like 3.9 seconds so that it can stack. Now, if you stack 4 times or even more, then you can actually make the damage dealt by the enemy from 15% to minus 60%. And that is already quite good effect, because it directly reduces the damage dealt by the enemy, which means when their attack come to your is less than your defense after 60%, they do only 1 damage to you. This is what makes it very useful before. And also, enemy affected by the arrow cannot cast motion skills. That is great dealing with NPCs again. And then you also have this affix. Basically, it makes every time an enemy within this thing receives damage, next time you will deal 20% more damage to it. And this lasts 5 seconds and stacks up 5 times, so that's like 100% damage amplification. That was also makes this thing really good, because 60% of damage reduction to weaken the enemy, and also 100% damage reduction to make them receive more damage. Also, this will allow you to protect other artifacts, because 60% damage reduction is quite big. And also, then there are things every time when people move within this area, they will receive damage quite big as well, and reduce agility 30%. So once you are inside the mask area, it's very hard to move out, and when you move out, you receive damage, and also you can be stunned for 0.1 seconds when every time this thing stacks. So it was a very annoying artifact, at least back then. Now you can much easier breaking it, since all the numbers in this game have boosted even more. So this is it, and this red area thing, it is the area, and you can see that sometimes it gets stunned. Yeah, that is what it does do, and it does make you deal more damage to this thing, and that's basically Mask does. The next artifact is Solar Banner, and this one is not that much useful again, and you get this thing by defeating the Leonid, and it allows you, what it does first, it creates this area dealing some sort of fire damage, not much, but the main point is any unit expand, basically spend, not expend, spend or lose energy, then this artifact absorbs the enemy and use it to expand the range. And every time it's include yourself, so when yourself is using energy, you first of all receive shield, which is really great. That's one good thing about this. But also, the more energy absorbed, it can shoot out a tracking ball, fireball, and dealing more damage. And that you can see it from the last 2 affix. And also every 2 seconds it will drop fireball as well. So basically it does some attack. And the thing is, when you absorb energy, the more energy it absorbs, the more damage it can deal. If you have using a lot of energy, or if you're using a finger build to make the enemy losing a lot of energy, then you can see that this tracking fireball will be keep on shooting out. It's quite interesting. And also each fireball will stun the target for 0.1 seconds. That's also another way to control the enemy. So yeah. And to show this, maybe I should use a finger build. Let's see. Inner emptiness. Yep. And do I have a finger divine power? Right. Let's see how it works. Go to the martial arts arena. Summon this. So first of all, you see this area. Now, and you see this little fireball dropping from the sky. So it does some kind of damage, and maybe not that strong, but it's not too bad. The next artifact is actually one of the best artifacts in this game, which is Pool of Pearls. You gain it by defeating the Blood Shield Carpia. And the main thing about this is about its functionality. It is not an attacking artifact. So you can see that it will generate some orb every 4 seconds and automatically fire towards the user. And it stays flying up to 3 seconds before disappearing. If you hit the user before disappearing, it will increase your damage output 15%, lasts for 7 seconds. So first of all, it's a good damage boost. And then you have Arctic to make it, fly faster so that it can hit you before disappearing. Also, it can generate 1 second longer. That's how it is. Every time you cast a special skill, it generates an orb, and that is one of the better ones, obviously. So if I'm using a special skill, which is, for example, this guy, maybe, yeah. Anyway, so where am I? Which basically you have less city of special skill, generate more orbs. That's another great thing. It's not good when you are using water sword though, because you are jumping around too much and the orbs can't really hit you. And also the thing is about the orbs, there are many different artifacts, and you kind of want only either one of them, either the yellow orbs, which allows you to reduce your cooldown of your ultimate 15 seconds, which is pretty great, or you want the black orbs, which give you the dodge, 9 times dodge for the next 10 seconds. I would say you want to reduce the artifacts of different type of orbs as much as possible. So ideally I should not have both of these artifacts, I should only have one of them, depending on which one I want. Probably I want a yellow one. And so let's do this in this. Back then this used to be the best way to refresh your ultimate. So let's use our ult. Let's use this. And this is the black one. And red one. Come on. Black one. Black one. Red one. Red one. And this is the yellow one. And this should. Yeah, immediately it goes from 10 seconds to 0. And this is the main point of the pearl. And I realized because of this I cannot see anything. And yeah, that's basically it. It's something which kind of relying on your, let's say, luck, because you want the yellow one instead of this. The next one is the cloak, and this is a one which is kind of interesting. Let's say that it's quite useful when you are against enemies, against NPCs, or in, let's say, sect battles, where you have a lot of NPCs fighting a lot of NPCs, because this will actually cast a storm ward for all allied units within this range, restore their HP, increase their defense, basically make everyone stronger, help them recovery. But if you just want to increase your own damage to increase your speed, like for me maxing against mythical beasts, it's not that useful. On the other side, because it does restore the HP for all allies, including your artifacts as well, it is a good way to help your artifacts survive. And when you actually need your artifact spirit on the battle, you might combine them with the cloak. And of course it will have this thing ally protected by it, where dodge next coming attack. So it is really a defensive one. But one good thing is a guaranteed a critical strike, but it's only one, and it's a bit meh when you have so many attacks at the same time. And then you have simple things like increase their agility, decrease the enemy agility. But it is a simple, straightforward defensive artifact, which can be quite useful in sect battles. This is a cloak, and I think the NPCs really like it as well. So this is basically its does. Yep. The next one artifact is Outlandish Guqin. It's again a really good artifact in terms of damage as well as functionality. So it will shoot sound waves, each of them dealing some damage, and it's 23k. It's much bigger than other damage artifact, for example the sword, which is 665. That's why I said it's not good. Notice, well, okay, granted it is reborn, so it's one realm higher, but still the numbers does not match, right? Like this guy deals not much damage, 2000, 4000, and this guy deals 3000, 2000 damage, and this is just one realm above, suddenly become 23k. So yeah, damage wise it's quite good, and it can have a lot of different affixes. I can only have 6 affixes in this one, so I cannot show you everything, but basically it has many different uses. Like it will trigger the variation, that's the basic thing that allows you to trigger all these different effects. But yeah, it can provide shield, great. It can restore HP for allies, great. And also it will increase the damage done by the artifact holder 12%, basically your damage, 12% amplification, also great. And also it can deal damage by itself. And the thing is disabling motion skill and immobilizing target. 5 seconds, quite good, right? And yeah, so in general, Guqin is a quite good artifact. I do not use it that much, probably because it's really hard to refresh the good artifacts that you want. And let's see how does it work. And also because the general reason, basic artifacts in this game are too easy to break. Anyways, this is Guqin, and you see this thing, and it will do some damage sometimes. I get HP recovery, and this is damage it does to the enemy, the green ball. So in general, it's good for its, how to say, functionality, I would write. Like, this HP recovery is quite nice. And it will increase a bit more damage as well, so when you can use it, and this is the stun. Basically, it makes the enemy, disables the enemy for 5 seconds. The next and the kind of the last artifact is the Cyan seal, and this is a one which is so-called for summon builds, but I don't really use it that much for summon builds. In general, I think a simple horn maybe is actually better, but paper-wise, it looks quite good. It will first of all trigger a chi explosion, dealing 34k damage, which is quite good, right? After all, it's Transcendent Realm, so this base level realm is Transcendent, so which means you cannot have any seal which is less than Transcendent Realm, which can be a disadvantage, which I will talk about later. And then every time a summon unit dies, it will trigger an Abyssal Breeze. So if you have summons the horn and those little piggies which are very easy to die, then you can trigger this Abyssal Breeze all the time. It deals again 13k damage, quite good. And also every time when the Abyssal Breeze was released, you will gain additional 10% damage bonus to all summon units. So stack 5 times. Nah, that's a problem. 50%, that's not much. Look at our horn, that's like 250%. That's the difference there. But anyways, it's better than nothing. You can combine the seal with the horn after all. And yeah, it itself does some good damage-ish, I would say. But if you say that it is especially really good, must-have for summon builds, I wouldn't call it that way. So let's summon this thing. First of all, it has really big range, and it does some kind of damage. Why is it 11 instead of 33k? That I will never understand. And the thing is, what if I try to summon some? The problem is this thing will probably last so long that they won't die inside this. Maybe I just trigger this. Take away this. Trigger some of my thing, and hopefully when I summon again, maybe one of them will die. And let us see. Yeah, this is the Abyssal Breeze. Alright, now I have finished talking about different artifacts. Now it is time to discuss about how to exactly use these artifacts in the real in-game. So the point is, like I already mentioned in the beginning, that in order to create an artifact, you need material that is beyond your realm. So let's use the example. Let's say when you are at Golden Core, and a Golden Core level of artifact is the Cerulean Bell, which means you have to defeat the Koto to gain the core material if you are not an NPC. Alright, and also for this, first of all, when you can defeat this, which means you can already progress to the next region, so you don't need to start at the Golden Core. Second, you would need a better means like better fire starting with flame, so the red one probably won't give you a red rarity one. In order to get a red rarity bell, you would at least a blue flame, which you can only get in Immortal branch of the sect. And if you come to the Huafeng branch, you only green flame, which is not enough for your same realm artifacts. And also you need, and when you want to upgrade them, you need to defeat the tower. And when you can defeat the tower, you can already progress to the next region again. So during your progression, you are always stuck with artifacts which are below your realm, which greatly limits their usage because they have HP bar and they can be broken in the battle, and in chaos they are easily broken. They can't survive a few seconds unless they are the same realm as you, and even in that case, many times they still cannot survive that much against more and more crazier enemies when you go to even higher realms. Also, another thing which is really the limiting factor is this focus. So in order to equip an artifact, it takes some focus. So let's go to the artifact again. Notice this one here. Focus use 10k. This is one transcendent artifact, takes 10k focus. Another pool first transcendent, 10k. Reborn, 6k. And this one enlightenment only around 4k, 3k. So these are good. However, now look at my character. I am a character using a really good compendium, which increased my focus a lot. In this case, I have 30k maximum focus, and even one single artifact, transcendent one, will take 1/3 of it, which means I can take, this is 2, and now one reborn one, maybe one this. Adding this is already not enough focus, and I'm only using 2 transcendent, only 1 reborn and 1 enlightenment. And in order to equip all 5 things, I literally need to go to any town here and start drinking the Tarun, drinking alcohol here. Is this one? It's either the first one or the second one, and you got a chance to gain the thing you wanted. Not this one, not this one, and I probably won't keep refreshing until I get the thing, but eventually you will get something you get, and you can drink the wine buff from all the 5 ones, and because of that, you might be able to gain the correct maximum focus. Oh, I realized that I do not even have that much maximum focus, and it's because I previously had that buff with me. That's how I can take. But this is a good example, because I drink the wine and get rid of that buff. Now you see that my currently used focus is already the maximum focus, but as long as I don't take this down, I can still use it. So this is how you actually can equip artifacts. You drink wine from everywhere, get that thing, you put on artifact so that when your maximum focus is bigger, and then you never take it down. And this is still when I'm only using 2 transcendent. So basically, the game is designed as such, you cannot use a lot of same realm artifacts. It's just impossible. And as I mentioned before, as soon as you reach enlightenment, you can already have 6 artifacts. So there's no point to upgrade them above enlightenment, because that will only make them cost much more focus, and basically you cannot use them anymore. And now your question is, but do I need to? Like, in general, why do you want to upgrade those artifacts? Of course, when you upgrade them, you gain more stats, which means, first of all, if you're using them to attack, make them attack higher. Or if you are using them, at least when you summon them, they are less easy to be broken, right? And now it comes to thing. Another thing is spirit power capacity. The more you upgrade, it increases spirit power capacity. And what is this spirit power capacity? Now, both of these questions will have something to do with artifact spirits. So, artifacts, their main purpose is to combine one with an artifact spirit. You do this, and then, not only when you summon them in battle, the spirit can use their active skills, but also, even if you do not summon in battle, you just equip it here. You just equip it in this one, and you get into combat, your artifact spirits, their passive talent, for example, very important, this one, increase your maximum stack by 3, this will be used. So in the current stage of the game, because you cannot use too much same realm artifact, your artifacts are too fragile. Their main use is just equip an artifact spirit, equip an artifact, get into the battle, never summon them, and then you can use the passive talent of the artifact spirits. Now the thing is, the more you unlock their talent, the more it will cost the spirit power. For example, Mengyi here will cost 1000 spirit power, which means if your artifact, in my case here there isn't anyone who is too low realm, then they won't have enough spirit capacity to take the artifact spirits. And that is the main reason why you want to upgrade them. And I would say upgrade them to Enlightenment. It's a good point, where they in general have enough capacity to take any kind of artifact spirits, not refined, sorry, any spirits with their at least half full talents. So, and also they can have 6 different affixes, which is good enough. The more you upgrade it to higher, for them Transcendent, they take much more focus. It becomes not really worth it. There are a few exceptions. For example, the seal is started with Transcendent, you can't do much with it. The Guqin starts with Reborn, you can't do much with it. But also, for example, Pool of Pools, as I said, is really useful when it is actually summoned in the game, and it will help you to refresh the ultimate cooldowns. Then yeah, by all means upgrade to Transcendent, because then it will make them more tankier so that it does not die. But otherwise, I would suggest you just to come to Enlightenment, never use them in battle, only put an artifact spirit. And about artifact spirit, I will talk about them in probably next video in this series, not really the next video I will publish. But yeah, I think that's basically about everything in this game about artifacts. And I really think, first of all, the fact that the whole progression, everything was lagged behind your realm. And second, the enemies are way too strong to break artifacts, and they are taking so much focus. Both these things adding together, limiting the use of artifacts. And it is really a pity, because as you can see, many of them are designed very nicely, make you feel like they can have so much potential to make the game much more interesting. And I really wish that the development team can take these few months of time before the official version release, or maybe even after release, adjust some numbers and make the artifacts great again. Anyways, that will be it for this video. Thank you for watching, and please leave a like or subscribe, and I will see you next time.